You are a human being, not a human doing. In existing, your purpose and your potential is already fulfilled. The magic in your creation is the exact same magic that resides within you right now. And we have gotten too caught up as a society in this idea of doing that we don't rest enough in an idea of being. And I'm just here to let you know, to really let myself know, you're all a reflection of me, that in existing, in being conscious, in having, even having the thought of like, what am I doing here? What should I do next? Any of that thought is coming from a place of already being enough and already being perfect. Because we literally call it a human being. We call ourselves a human being. We are not a human doing something. We are a human being. We are an experience experiencing itself. We are an energetic field that is interacting with other energetic fields within the context of a larger energetic field. This is the reason why so many people, myself included, when we learn about the universe, when we are sitting in an astronomy class and learning about stars and different planets, we find ourselves so mystified and so curious and feeling simultaneously so small and so big. When we learn about these concepts, when we learn about physics, atomic physics, and biology, and history, human history, the kind of things that people are able to accomplish when we put our minds to it, the reason that we resonate with all these stories and all these facts so deeply is because it is all us. And because in learning about the world outside of us, we actually do learn about ourselves as well. I think very often about different metaphors of nature and things like how the and how the neural network system in our brains mirrors so much the root system of trees, and how our lungs also have this like intricate root system connecting them, the nerves in our entire body, how the womb of a woman is so similar to the core of the earth, and how even to breathe we have to inhale something, exhale something. That's exactly what trees do. That's exactly what trees and plants do. And that is the reason that we even have the oxygen that we, on a daily basis, on a moment to moment basis, use to thrive, to exist. Back to my original point. I really don't have a plan for this. I'm just talking. I have a lot of passion though. It's like the thing I've been trying to express for many days is like finally coming to the surface. But it's like we need to simplify life. I think the answer to all of our questions and all of our turmoil will come to us when we realize the significance of being and kind of this transformation that the whole world is going through. We need to realize that this doing mentality is what is contributing to so much pain and war, dissatisfaction, climate change, environmental damage, fires everywhere. It's quite literally an overheating of the earth system. It's like within each of us, the fire, like it's like a masculine fire. It's like the yang principle of duality. It's like the doing that has gotten so strong that like forests are literally burning. And of course you can trace other actions to this final event of this fire happening in a forest. But the way that I look at it, the outside world is a mirror of individual and collective consciousness. So it's like when we are constantly stressed out, constantly confused, constantly striving to be something better without also complementing that with falling back on our inherent worthiness and our inherent lovability and our inherent flow as human people. If we're not also in that flow, then getting ultra caught up in doing, fire, heat, causes that same shift to occur in the world around us. So I suggest, and something that I'm also leaning towards as I'm learning more to embrace my own feminine energy and my own kind of settle into my own natural flow, like what I feel like I should be doing, what I want to prioritize, and how I want to be as a human on a daily basis without thought. as I'm getting closer to this ideal version of myself and embodying her, I'm realizing that like this kind of inner shift is also what can shift the world around us. Because things like community, things like creativity, things like collaboration, all of that only comes when we are feeling in balance and integrity with ourselves. Because at least this is what I found in my experience, and I'm reading The Artist's Way right now by Julia Cameron and a couple other books, watching some people online who are all sharing similar things, but it's like the more that we focus on a creative output or a result or an end goal, the less we are actually in tune with being. And I would argue that the more we're focused on doing, the less human we are. Because yes, the world around us is built from action. Yes, like skyscrapers were built because people built them. Scientific formulas and vaccines are developed because people do the work to develop them. But I also think those fields and those systems and those materials would not exist if not for being. So I think the shift in this world will only come when we also shine a light on inner being and on the simplicity of being before we actually turn to the brain and to doing to solve these complicated problems. It's almost like we could go the long route, which is hard work, doing, fighting constantly with time, with space, with people, with our bodies, constantly like setting our nervous system on fire, setting everything on fire, because we think that this power and this full steam ahead will get us to where we want to go. That is one path. But I'm getting this clarity that like perhaps there's another path, and that path is sitting in your being. And when we are in this state of being, when our nervous systems are calm, when we're not fluctuating in terms of emotions and thought patterns, when we have an overflowing love and abundance for ourselves and everyone around us, then the action that comes forth from us is so much more intentional and specific and powerful that it's a leap where we almost jump over all these stops we would have had to go through to get to the exact same goal, if not something even better. Like it's almost like if you kept working hard and like trying to fight with like your boss and trying to work out your body super hard every single day and trying to reach your goals, whatever they might be, physical, intellectually, the more you strive for that and work hard to get there, fire everywhere, masculine energy, then by the time you get there, you're burnt out. By the time you get there, it's not even what you wanted. By the time you get there, you've either lost people along the way, you've lost value, you've lost parts of yourself, perhaps, and at the end of the day, you're like, was all of that hard work worth it? But no, the thing is, all of that hard work is only worth it if you're doing it from a place of experiencing with wonder. And I think wonder is a key ingredient to being, a key ingredient to being a human, to living a life where you are a human being, not a human doing. Because just theorize with me for a second. It's like your whole life, you start off as like a tiny wee kid, and then you go through school and you're doing homework, you're doing projects, and you work super hard to get into college. Then in college, you're working, you have some time on the weekends to spend time with your friends. Then you're working, you get into a good firm, or you get accepted to a really good job. Then you're working, you take some time off. And side note, I think the reason why so many people enjoy and revel in vacation so much is because it is a time where you are just being and not necessarily doing. And the counter of that is that sometimes people can get stressed out on vacation, and I think the reason that happens is because you, on this vacation, this kind of space is created for you to just be, and if you instead fight that and try to do and cross all these things off a bucket list and see every single attraction in the place you're visiting, then that can actually be even more tiring and even more stressful. So that's a little side note I just had to mention. But it's like the more we the more we work and work and work throughout our lives, then you get to retirement, and then you retire, and then you're coming to the end of a very long life, 60, 70, 80 years, and you're kind of just like, what did I do in my whole life? Like, what did I do? But what I'm kind of saying here is that if you are in a state of being, the doing will naturally happen. If you are in a state of being, then the end goal of the doing is irrelevant. And if you are in a state of being, then every single moment is enough. And every single moment, regardless of the action, is worth a lifetime. Because you know that in your existence, in you even opening your eyes, or hearing a bird sound, or feeling the touch of someone's fingers, or smelling something, being is also very closely linked to senses. But when you are in tune with all of that, then a single moment of complete presence in being is truly enough. And then the striving disappears, and the wanting and the yearning and the craving for the next perfect action, the next perfect day, and the next vacation, all of that disappears because there's nothing to contrast it with. It's like you are not in a state of like fluctuation, you are just in a constant state of being. And being naturally fluctuates, but it's almost like you realize you are within the being, and the being is within you. And the state of being is just everything you see around you. And the act of like you doing is an expression of the being. But the doing comes as an after result, as an effect and an expression, again, an expression of the being, of the state of being. And the way that I see it, there are like two actions that could arise at any given moment. It's like the action separate from being, which is the action rooted in chasing, the action rooted in lack, the action rooted in scarcity, the action rooted in, I have to do this thing. I have to work hard to get to this place. I have to do this because it's on my to-do list. I have to text this person because they told me to. Whatever it might be, That is one level of action. And the other level of action comes from being. It's when you're present with yourself and you're like, okay, this person texted me, but in this moment, is it in my best interest to text them back? Is that what I want to be doing? And in that moment where you're asking yourself that question, you are in a state of being, because you are not in a constant go, go, go without realizing that the essence underneath is the truth of it all. When you are in tune, I'm going to take a moment, when you are in tune with the essence of all that is, and when you're in tune with the core of your being, then the action that comes as a result, or non-action, they are both the correct answer. And I guess looking at it pragmatically, there is no right or wrong answer to anything you do. There is no good or bad. There is no better or worse necessarily, because everything does happen as according to the laws of physics, the laws of inertia, the laws of our brains and our hearts and our souls, and the laws of energy. Like, that is how everything transpires. But it's like, at the end of the day, if you are happy with every single moment and every single decision because you are in a state of being, then there will no longer be a stress associated with the outcome of the doing. The doing becomes a natural byproduct of the being. And an example from my own life, I often find that if I'm just kind of doing nothing, whether that's going for a walk and not really listening to anything, whether I'm just staring at my ceiling or filing my nails, perhaps, like something very mundane, that is when my most creative and insightful and powerful ideas come from. It is in those moments of not doing, in those moments of just being. Because the human soul wants to express, the human soul wants to do. And creativity, and true creativity, comes as a result of this action that comes from the soul. But I think in our current society, we are so wrapped up in action that comes from our head, and also from the messaging and the conditioning around us, that we have lost what it means to act from the soul and to act from the heart. And to do work that comes from the heart is to act in integrity and with love for everything you do, whether that's something very, very difficult or something very easy and pleasant. Both of them get the same amount of intention and love, because you realize you are a human being and your worth is not determined by what you do or what you accomplish or what you say or what you look like. It is determined by the fact that you simply are. And it's the same way that we wouldn't tell a child, when a child is born, let me rephrase, when a child is born, we don't look at that baby and say, oh, you're not worthy because you didn't come out 1 week earlier. We don't say you're not worthy because you don't have more hair on your head, or you didn't learn to walk, as soon as your brother did. We don't say these things because we realize everyone has their own timeline, and also we just celebrate the existence of the baby itself, period. It's like new life has sprung on this planet. It's like a flower blooming. It's like a tree sprouting, or music being heard for the first time. It's like something original, never before been experienced or seen in this world, has now been created, and we're seeing the fruit of that creation right here in front of us. And that is the miracle of life. And that is why everyone, I really don't think you can find any person who can look at a baby and say, oh, like, fuck that shit, that baby is not. Like, everyone has this space in their heart to celebrate life and to appreciate true life. So my question is, why do we give babies and fresh life on this planet this permission to just be without having to do, and yet we put this pressure on ourselves and those around us who are grown to constantly be in a state of doing? Because are we not humans as well? Are we not human beings as well? And I think if we kind of shift this internally for ourselves and for those around us, if we start having conversations about, oh, how did your being feel today? How did it feel to just be? Want to go to the water and just be? Like, maybe that can be a new norm. And maybe that can be one of the big shifts that we actually have a say in. So many people are like, there is all of this turmoil happening in the world. There's wars happening here. There's people being killed here. There's so much pain. And like, I feel it too. The pain, the humanity's pain right now is, I would say, at an all-time high, if not just mirroring many centuries of the same level of pain. But it's like, perhaps the way to shift that is to find more slowness. And if we find slowness, if we find synchronicity, if we find simple pleasure and simple gratitude for the very mundane things, then the action that comes from that place, it might be smaller and it might be more rare. But I think it will call for a shift, and I think it will invite more love and more light and more prosperity and possibility into the world. And as of right now, I think that's kind of the only thing we can do. We can live in our truth, in our integrity. We can be to the fullest of our potential, and we can inspire others to do the same just by being. I'm getting reminded of a time a few years back when I emceed an event for an organization. And this was a year in my life where I had a lot of personal growth, and I kind of stepped into my own power in a very courageous way. I was kind of just like, this is who I am, this is how I'm going to dress, this is how I'm going to talk, this is just me. So I wore this really amazing Indian dress for this event, and I emceed with this other girl, and I felt so in flow on that day. Like, I was like spitting jokes, I was like super just in it, and I was saying a bunch of stuff that I know the crowd really loved, and I was super in my element, and I also performed a few songs. And on this day, after the whole program of the day, we were all just mingling, and I had emceed already, this lady who actually started the organization many, many, many years ago comes up to me with like tears in her eyes, and she's like, I just want you to know that your authenticity has power. And the fact that you are who you are and you do what you do inspires so many people, myself included. And she said this one thing where she was like, you just being inspires us to be. And that quote has just always stuck with me, because it's like, I didn't do anything specifically to stand out on that day. I didn't do anything specifically to make an impact or to resonate with a specific type of person. I literally was just saying whatever came to mind. I was just reading the room and talking from my heart, but it didn't feel like doing. It just felt like being. And I think that really speaks to people. And I think the right people, when they are ready to receive your being, they can feel it so deeply that they are also then inspired to go about their lives being in a powerful way. So that's kind of all I got for today. This is just the thought, and now we have a 20-minute video, and interruption in shit, and all the interruptions and everything. I'm not going to edit it. I'm just going to post it like this, because that is flow and that is being, and being also includes the hiccups along the way. I did not script this out. I kind of was just like, let's do it. Oh, also I got a tattoo a few days ago, if you guys can't see. Okay, I invite us all to take a deep breath together and to feel this breath from our stomach all the way to the top of our head, and to release it. And when we release this breath, when we exhale, I want us to envision that all the do mentality and the stress that we've taken on from society is leaving our body, leaving our system. And at the end of this exhale, we are going to feel a sense of settledness, a sense of peace and contentness that is going to sit with us for the rest of the day, the rest of the week, the rest of the month, the rest of our lives, okay? So let's inhale. Hold it. And exhale out. Thank you so much for watching. This is Thada's Temple. I'm Thada, and you're welcome to stay, leave, whatever you may feel like, but remember, you are a human being, not a human doing. I love you. Bye.